Hey, hello everybody. Happy Friday and welcome to another Adventures in Truth livecast. My name is Jim Case and I am your host today, and I'm excited that you're here. Thank you for being here. If you think about it and you like what you see and what you're watching, please make sure to like and share. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and same on Facebook. And let me know you're out there. If you'd like to enjoy the show with me, if you want to interact or ask questions, you can go to the Adventures in Truth Facebook page, and on the live screen there you can type in your questions or comments and I'll respond to them live on air. So today's going to be an interesting show. I decided to reintroduce the pyramid of wellness. Still very much a powerful part of this whole structure, but I haven't talked about it in a while, and I wanted to, since we are in the new year and we're getting ready to, or if we're not already moving forward into all kinds of new stuff. And given the state of the world and our lives and all the changes we're going through, I thought a rehash of the pyramid of wellness would be really beneficial right now, because I think it provides some great tools and understanding about how you can become that conscious creator that we're talking about. Because remember, this is the year of conscious creation. So it's going to be a great topic. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. I'll be right back right after this, and we're going to dive in. I can find my buttons. All right, welcome back. Here we go. Got to push my buttons. So here we are, the year of conscious creation. And I started a movement. This movement in this year of conscious creation is My World is Good. Very simple, very straightforward. Evolved out of just kind of observing what's happening in the world, what's happening in our experience, and realizing that people were feeling kind of disempowered and feeling kind of frustrated and feeling kind of not feeling like there were things that we could do. And I thought, well, this is interesting, because a very small group of individuals spent a great portion of the last number of years doing exactly that. Repeating the same things over and over and over again, although they were negative, although they have moved us in a direction I don't think we want to go. Here we are. And I thought, well, if we can do it in one direction, why can't we do it in the other? So My World is Good is all about dialing into that. Even bigger than that, because really that's just story, that's minutia, that's whatever it is. But even bigger than that for me is understanding that we are 7.5 billion unique worlds, all inhabiting this planet at the same time. And actually close to 8 billion, I believe. But the importance and significance of that is this. I say individual worlds because we can't live anybody else's life and nobody can live ours, plain and simple. So everything we do comes through this lens of our perspective. So we are creating our own world, consciously or unconsciously. We are creating our own world. And that world gets reflected to us outside in the real world. And what this is about is changing both of those perspectives and perceptions. So My World is Good is a neutral statement that doesn't impact negatively, meaning you can't use it divisively. You can't use it politically. You can't use it sexually. You can't use it in any way that differentiates from anybody else. It's an energy that we can all generate together. And My World is Good is just a powerful, forward-moving, positive energy. And I want us to all focus into that forward-moving, positive energy. And the cool thing about this is it doesn't require you any money, doesn't require an email signature to sign up, doesn't require you to do anything but do the exercise. And the exercise is simple. You engage My World is Good. You feel it, you say it, and you feel it again. And you do that as many times as a day as you can think about. I've suggested doing it first thing when you come back in your body in the morning, so that you are creating this powerful momentum for the greatness of your experience as you get up in the day. But you can use it throughout the day. You can use it at any point during the day. If you find yourself getting a little negative, shift it up. Stop yourself, step away from the situation and get into My World is Good and start to generate that goodness and see how it changes your interaction. Here's what I know for sure. If you do this, you will begin to see more goodness in your life. You will begin to experience more goodness in your life. I guarantee it. It happens every day. It happens every day in my world, and I know many others that it happens in their world too. And again, it doesn't require anything but your focus and intention and energy. Isn't that cool? I love that. And I love that you're there participating with me in this. Because here's what happens. This is about creating a new tipping point in positive awareness. So as we all do this, my world is good, as we all generate this amazing energy and all the love that's filled in that and the goodness that's filled in that, we are creating that field within our own world, within one of those 8 billion or 7.5 billion worlds, but we're all creating the same energy. So it creates this field that begins to come together in unity. And that unification of energy is what creates the tipping point in the field. Because if we continue to do this and add this energy, it's going to begin to influence the mass consciousness and begin to change some of that negative energy that we've been experiencing and lightening things up some. So there's no harm, no foul wherever you go with it. So I hope you will participate. I hope you'll join me in this amazing experience. My world is good, man. And we're going to take a second right here, right now to talk about that. And here's what it looks like to me. It's simply feeling it all over the place and letting it spin your energy up. My world is good. 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 And what I hope you noticed as I did that short little exercise, you watched the energy, my energy, start to spin up. You felt the bubbles. You saw the light come in my eyes. There was a change in me simply doing that. So I ask you to join me. I ask you to join all the rest of us doing this and just dive in. You know, as often, as many times as a day as you think about it, that's all that's required. Feel it, say it, feel it. Feel it, say it, feel it. My world is good. I appreciate you being a part of this. If you see posts for My World is Good out in the world, I would appreciate you sharing them. I would appreciate you getting it out into the world, into your networks, and get people to talk about it. Because again, they don't have to sign up for anything. It's just a participation exercise of focusing our energy together. So share, share, share. Yay. And thank you for being here again. So I'm excited. We're going to switch over here. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will dive into the topic of the day. Woohoo! Here we go. All right, we are back. Here we are at the Pyramid of Wellness. So I don't know if you all remember, about 4 or 5 months ago, I guess, I started this Pyramid of Wellness. And it's a powerful, powerful tool. And it was based on originally the looking at the things that we do the most. And how do I build how do you look at what we do and build a wellness program out of the things that we do as a regular part of our lives? And I don't mean things like going to the store and going to the bathroom and things like that. This is a more broader scale. So let me show you what I mean. So the building of the pyramids, or the pyramid as it were, looks like this. And this pyramid, let me take this off of here. So this pyramid, there's two forms of this pyramid. There is the conscious pyramid and there is the unconscious pyramid. So we are going to spend some time talking about both. Okay. So here's how this works. So the Pyramid of Wellness is this layering of activities that we do on a regular basis. So let me put these back up here so we can see what I'm talking about. So we decided to start with breath, breathing at the very bottom of this process. And you'll see here, well, I'm not sure how to break this up, but we'll do it this way for now. So In the conscious process, the foundation, the biggest foundation of our process is breath. And we've talked about this many times, and we're going to talk about it some more here in just a second. So breath, moving into mind, moving into integrating or rejuvenating. So that's sleep and things of that nature. And then into creating, into manifesting, connecting, self-care, and transforming. We're going to go through each of those levels. And we're going to show you the difference between, since this is the year of conscious creation, how you use it when you're conscious and how you use it when you're unconscious. This map that you're looking at is the conscious map. And we're going to run through that and really show you and contrast for you what the differences are. You can see here unconscious breath, how and willpower, sleeping, working, consuming. This energy then breaks because you're not connected to anything. You're not connected to self. So there is no getting to connecting and self-care and transforming because you're living in an unconscious experience that isn't allowing you to unfold your life the way that you would like to. So that's really the foundation of where we're going today. And I'm going to have a great conversation about that. But of course, before we begin, it is time for us to take a moment to focus. And this is one of my favorite times because, I talk all the time about having a good daily practice and having that foundational experience available to you because it makes such a difference in your world. It makes such a difference in my world because I'm no longer, it keeps me from being in that fear-focused consciousness and keeps me in that opportunity-based consciousness. What does that mean? It means that I don't see through the filter of fear and that I can look at fear or look at things in those responses. I can look at them as objects in the field of my awareness instead of them taking over my life and clinging to me and creating an uncomfortable experience. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the experiences may be a little uncomfortable, but the reality of that is it's just a transitional thing. As you're experiencing something, as you witness it, there can be feeling attached to that. And as you're wanting to understand how to migrate or shift your perspective, you can feel a little uncomfortable depending on the intensity of the energy. That's all. So taking a moment to focus, you saw in the pyramid that the basis of both unconscious and conscious is breath. One uses it, the other doesn't. It's pretty straightforward. In this process, breath is the foundation of everything. It's the thing we do the most is breathe. And it is also the thing that keeps us on the planet. When we breathe, we are not only breathing in oxygen, we are breathing in energy. We are taking in prana, chi, life force. We are bringing it into our experience so that we can revitalize this whole physical vessel. Remember that everything in this body, down to the cellular level, changes consistently all the time. I can't remember the specific number. I want to say, I don't remember, so I'm not gonna guess. But your cells replace themselves there's a cycle, and that cycle happens all throughout your life. So the more you can engage breath and the more you can bring that breath and manage your breath, you'll find a much more balanced, much more level, much more engaged, much more feeling experience, but from a very positive perspective. So I like to do this at the beginning to engage us all, because I also believe that when we focus together, when we come together energetically, just like I was talking about with the movement, when we come together in that fashion, we have incredible power. And I love having all of you out there coming together with me in this process and feeding energy, and we're sharing energy. And that's taking this conversation deeper. It's taking this experience deeper. And it helps me and all of us to understand more deeply, because we create this powerful, powerful field that we can all access that universal mind and pull in more in clarity and information. So that's the first part of this is getting into the breath. So I'd like you to just get comfortable where you are, whether you're laying down or standing or sitting or whatever you're doing. Just be comfortable. Take a deep breath and just let it go out of the mouth. In this process, we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth through the entire process. And what we're going to do is we're going to focus into our field. So let your eyes close. And of course, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. But everywhere else, I want you to just settle in. Let your breath, feel your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. I want you to relax into the space that you're in. And I want you to become aware of your energy, of your field. When I say field, that is the stuff that's all outside, the stuff that radiates from you. That's your field, your entire field of energy. Just become aware of it. Maybe you've never looked at it before, maybe you've never experienced it before. So don't get confused or frustrated or anything else. Just feel it. Just imagine it, see it, and explore it. Let your consciousness roam around in your field and notice the things that consume your energy. Notice the things that are attached to your field. We do this all the time. We can be impacted by any number of things. We are sensitive beings. So everything that we experience has an impact in our field. But there are many times that we hold things in our field because we can't resolve them, because we don't understand them, because we want, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of reasons why we do that. What I want you to be aware of is how much is in your field that's consuming your energy, right? Just be aware of it. There's no judgment. Don't get caught up in what it is and who it is and why it is. That's not for now. Just be aware. Just be aware of how much your energy is consumed by things that you're not even being aware of. And now, as you become more aware of that, I want you to bring your consciousness into your heart space. So that awareness, I want you to bring it into the center of your heart. And then I want you to do this. I want you to set a command into your field, and I want you to take all of the energy that is outside of you and bring it inside of your body. Just, again, you may never have done this before, and that's okay. Just experience you've called your energy into your heart. Feel that happening. Feel that energy coalescing in your chest. Feel the warmth. Feel the tingle. Just feel all of that energy, all of you focused into your heart space. Good. And keep that going. Feel that, and just feel that amazing flow of energy in your heart. Feel the incredible power that's there. And now allow that energy to explore the inside of you. Allow that energy to move up into your head and around through your brain and down your brain stem and down your spine. All along your spine, experience your vertebra, experience the cushions between the vertebrae, experience your spinal cord. Feel it where it connects to the brain stem and comes down your body all the way down to the bottom. And let that energy just continue to move. Become aware of your torso and your arms and shoulders. If you're feeling a little tension or a little tension in there, just focus for a second with breath. Just breathe into that spot, expand it, and let it go. That's all it is. It's just energy. Just let it go. If it's important, it'll present itself to you in another point in time. You don't need it right now. So focusing into that breath, focusing into that energy, moving in awareness in your body, seeing and feeling the inside, feeling the muscles and the organs and the blood vessels and the flow of blood. Be aware and dial into the nervous system. Look at all of the things that are happening in there. You don't have to engage it, just observe it. Just be aware of your digestive process, of the body moving food through your body, taking it down into the legs, all the way down to the feet and to the fingertips. Just be in the experience of your body, of your inner world. And just feel it, be with it. And now refocus that energy. We're going to go focus deeply into the breath. So now I want you to focus all of that awareness into your breath. And just allow yourself to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Feeling that deeply. Notice how you breathe. Does your breath expand you in 360 degrees? Or is it just a chest breath that lifts? Or maybe it's a belly breath that just expands the belly a little bit. Where does your breath happen in your body? And now as we focus into that breath, we're going to begin to manage and use that breath. And how we're going to do that is we're going to start with an inhale to a count of 4, and you're going to fill as completely as possible, full of air, every aspect of you, breathing into that 4 count. As you reach fullness, I want you to stay in the fullness and then relax into the fullness. And then you're going to release the air, and you're going to purge from the mouth to a count of 6. And the reason we purge to a count of 6 is that we get all of that old energy and air up and out, up and out, making room for the new stuff, making room for more. So we inhale to a count of 4, we rest in fullness, we exhale through the mouth to a count of 6, and then we rest in the emptiness. We rest for a moment, completely void, and then we'll re-engage and continue on, okay? So here we go. We're going to start with a big inhale. Inhaling through the nose, 2, 3, 4, feeling full at the top, and now release from the mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we rest in the void, relaxed, shoulders relaxed. As we engage the lungs, we inhale, 2, filling all the way, 3, and 4. We're resting in that fullness, no tension. And now we release and surrender from the mouth, expelling the air, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Consciously relaxing the body in the void, consciously being present in the emptiness. As you engage the lungs and inhale, filling, 2, filling even more, 3, filling completely, 4. Feeling that fullness, relaxed in the fullness as you release from the mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Feel that emptiness. Rest in it. One more time, engaging the lungs as you inhale. 2, feeling full. 3, filling all the way. 4. And holding in that just a moment. And then you release it from the mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as you rest into the void. And now continue that rhythm on your own. Continue that rhythm, keep that count. Feel the fullness, be conscious of the air as it fills your lungs and expands you. Be conscious as you relax into that fullness. Be conscious as you surrender all of that energy, because there's always more, there's always new. Surrender it all. Surrender it till there's nothing left, and then rest in the nothingness. And then consciously choose to re-engage and fill, and let that rhythm carry you forward. And as you do, take in these words. We're going to do our movement together. I want you to feel every word, feel every syllable, feel it in your being, feel it deeply. My world is good. As you're breathing, my world is good. Continuing to breathe. My world is good. My world is good. My world is good. My world is good. Just feel that. My world is good. Feel the joy. Feel the goodness. Feel that emanating from you. My world is good. And just let that continue on inside of you. And allow yourself to go through the last cycle of breath in this process. And as you complete, feel all of that energy in the center of your chest again, all of that air and powerful love and powerful you. And now consciously allow your energy to come back out and let it expand back out into the universe, filled with all of that love and goodness and focus. Just let it expand, bringing yourself present to this moment with me here now as we dive into the Pyramid of Wellness. Again, Pyramid of Wellness Revisited. Thank you all for participating. Thank you for the great energy. I love how this feels. And on with the show. Never a dull moment around here, I'm telling you. So the Pyramid of Wellness, again, we're revisiting this amazing concept and idea about wellness. And so we were talking earlier about unconscious versus conscious, and this is really important because we do so much unconsciously that we don't realize how much power we give away every moment of our lives to our unconscious behaviors. Because for every behavior that is unconscious, activity that is unconscious, it's consuming parts of your energy when you are not aware. So you don't have all of you available in that context because it's being consumed by the subconscious part, the unconscious part that's not paying attention. So it's important to make that transition from unconscious to conscious. But the great thing is you only have to really focus that in the beginning in one place, and that's the foundation. And that foundation is breathing, to me, because as I told you earlier, this process is designed around the things that we actually as human beings do all the time. And what I discovered was that breathing is the thing I do the most because it's the thing that keeps me alive on the planet. So learning how to manage your breath and being conscious of your breath is huge because you can use your breath to shift state. You use your breath to expand you, right? So breathing becomes the foundational aspect. Learning how to manage and work with your breath becomes hugely important. I will tell you in my own practice, breath is the foundation that runs through all of it. And then there are other activities that I do around breath to help enhance it. But breathing in many different fashions and forms, I do multiple levels of breathing. When I start my daily practice, I just do full breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, just opening up my body, and I use it and move my body to begin to stimulate the spine and open up the nervous system and begin to create a receptive vessel for all of this amazing energy that I'm creating. Because remember, we create our own realities here, and it's our energy that's creating it or lack thereof. So what we want to do is create energy in a way that we can utilize it to help create momentum, to help create focus, to help create the things that we want in our lives. So breath becomes paramount to that experience and foundational to that experience. But the other thing that happens when you learn how to manage your breath is it begins to influence up the pyramid, because once you have that level of consciousness operating, once you are aware of breath and you're using that energy consciously, it begins to enroll the mind into the process of breath. Because remember, ultimately the mind is about the ego in the unconscious experience, right? In the unconscious experience, we're looking at ego. In the conscious experience, we're looking at mind, capital M mind, meaning universal mind, meaning connecting. But it's also including the ego mind because they have to come into relationship. They have to come into relationship. So here I'm going to shift over. Actually, I have a dual pane. So let me put this up here so we can see it together. So here we have on the left side of your screen is, I think it's the left side of your screen, is the conscious pyramid. This is where it starts breathing. And if you look to the right is the unconscious breathing. So what happens? When we learn how to manage breath, when we start using our breath consciously and we begin to engage that, it begins to change our core vibration. It begins to open us up to more possibility, but also to greater connection and alignment. What happens in that frame then is that the mind begins to cooperate with the desire of the soul, as it were, or the spirit, however you want to look at it. But that larger part of ourselves, the higher self, the connection to God, the divine spark, whatever version of that you want to talk about. So the breath gets you situated energetically at a higher vibration that allows you to be available and observe the activity of the mind. Because now the mind is not running the show, because the breath is managing your field. And the breath is allowing you to observe your mind and then manage how you interact with it so that it is not running you, but you are responding to it accordingly. And as you do that more and more, what you'll find is that while your mind will chatter, you'll pay less attention to it, but you'll also find that it's less disruptive. And then when it is disruptive, you're conscious of that. So you can go, wow, I'm confronting something important here. I'm confronting something significant here because it's overriding my mechanism. So I want to pay attention to what's happening. What am I reacting to? Do you see the difference? The difference here, so in the unconscious breath, there's no attention to breath at all. So you're doing whatever your body decides. And so everything that comes at you is you're at effect of. So you're constantly fighting through the mind and through the ego, and there's no sense of groundedness. There's no sense of foundation, right? Even though breath is the foundation of the experience when it's unconscious, there's no stability in it. It's just a lackluster kind of an activity that we don't pay. Again, it becomes an unconscious activity. And while we're equipped for that, right? Because the body's going to keep breathing to keep you alive on the planet. But that doesn't do anything for your energy, and it doesn't do anything for your ability to change your energy. When you manage breath, it changes all of that. So as you can see on the left side, so the breath then influences the mind. And so you begin to seek higher or greater connection to universal mind so that you can begin to create the things that you desire instead of the unconscious creation of the things I don't desire. But even more importantly, shifting over to the unconscious pyramid, when you're breathing unconsciously, then everything becomes about willpower, because willpower is about the ego, giving the ego permission to drive through your life. It means that everything is about, how do I get it done? How do I get my slice? How do I get my part? How do I keep people out of my pie? How do I get what's mine? And using the willpower to do that, meaning you force, punch, fight, whatever you got to do to push yourself through. On the left side in consciousness, you don't push anything. On the left side, you don't push anything, you allow. You engage, you observe, you allow. And in the be, do, have process, in the creation process, left side is beingness. When you're in breath, you're in beingness. And from beingness, you are inspired to doingness, which is what capital M mind is. When you're unconscious, you breathe, and then you try to figure out how you're going to conquer the world, right? It's a whole different animal. So here's a cool thing in the next step of this pyramid that I think is phenomenal. Once you've got the breath and the mind working together and you're beginning to generate this powerful energy, in the next level of the pyramid on the unconscious side is called sleeping. But on the conscious side, it's called integrating and rejuvenating. And this is another significant change here, because what happens a lot is when we are living in a willpower world, when we're living in a how-to world, it's exhausting. It takes our energy. It sucks the life out of us. It's unpleasant because it doesn't have a fulfillment. You're constantly squeezing tube, trying to wrench out everything you can out of this tube of life. But again, it's a resistance built format. So sleeping ends up being an escape rather than a rejuvenation, right? Sleeping ends up being an avoidance rather than an integration period. Because really what should happen is that as you engage your breath and you're conscious in your life and you're working at a high vibration and you're connected to universal mind, as you're doing that flow throughout the day, you encounter and learn a lot. You learn a lot about yourself and the way you interact with the world, and what you're seeing in the world is reflecting back to you how you're doing in your world. And so when you go to bed at night, it is a space of integration and rejuvenation. So you go to sleep and it's a continuation of the growth process in essence, because you're not trying to avoid anything. You're integrating what you learned. Where on the unconscious side, you're sleeping to get the hell away from the miserableness that you're trying to overcome in your everyday life. Okay. I know I'm making that sound horrible, but it's really truly how we kind of see it. If you really look at it from your own world perspective, you'll see there's a very distinct difference. So what happens now? We've gone to sleep. We've integrated what we've learned. We're rejuvenated. We come back in. We engage our breath again, because these cycles just keep repeating and winding themselves up. But in the conscious process, you go into a space of creation. So now you have your energy, your mind, and your field are all moving in the right direction, in the same direction. You've got momentum going, and now you are into creation. On the unconscious side, you've slept, you wake up, oh God, I got to do it again. Here we go. And you get up and you go to work. And so this level becomes about work. It becomes about a job. It becomes about all of the hows that you set into place that you're forcing yourself through to get to the destination you think you want to be at, but you haven't dealt enough on the inside to really get if that's where you want to be. Because you're being unconscious, you're just taking stuff that you've been given or that has been put upon you, or that you learned as a little kid, or whatever it is that you built up along the way, all the different ways that you built things up about what you're supposed to do in order to work your way through this world. Right? I'm going to go to school, I'm going to get good grades, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a degree, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to have a career, I'm going to get married. That's all the working part. That's just work. You're just doing the story. There's no real connection to it. It's just stuff. It's, here's the plan of life. Let's do the plan of life. There's no joy in it necessarily. And if it is, it's sporadic. It's a lot of work. You're using all of your energy to will your way through life and to figure out how you're going to make yourself successful, as opposed to setting the stage of your energy, foundationally setting the stage for your energy to expand and grow organically, because that's what it'll do, using the breath, managing the breath, connecting to mind, allowing all the things that you learn to become integrated and rejuvenating you to come to a point of creation, because now you've got all your energy focused and you're ready to create. And what happens next is what I call manifesting. So the creative process, be, do, have. You're in beingness for the bottom of the pyramid. From beingness, you're inspired to doing this, into creating. That creating is that space of inspiration that comes out of the beingness of who you are, because you're connected and aligned to all that you are. And then out of that doingness that comes from inspiration, you have creation, you have havingness, be, do, have. So havingness is that manifested part. That is now the place where you're beginning, your creative energy is moving into the world and you're seeing it begin to come to fruition. Think about it in terms of what we've been talking about with regard to the movement. My world is good. Same product. It's all the same. You lay that foundation of energy. You incorporate the mind to help the focus and the intention, and you learn and you grow. And then as you have your day and your experiences, you reflect, you integrate, you rejuvenate, you come into new creation, and from that creation you manifest. In the unconscious world, because you've been hammering, you're beating your life to death. You get up, you don't feel good, you go to work, you put in your time, you get through the day, and then it's consuming. So instead of manifesting, it becomes a consumption process. What does that look like? Well, it seems like they're not the same, but actually they aren't the same, but they are opposite sides of the coin, because consuming becomes about taking in those things that help you feel better about what's not working in the lower part of the pyramids. So consuming can be everything from food to drink to sex to to drugs, to whatever it is that you consume to help you feel better, so that you can go complete the process again, or continue to run in that circle of, how's my life working? How am I doing this? What am I doing? How am I doing it? And this is exhausting. I'm going to go to sleep. Fine. I go to sleep to avoid, because I feel like crap and I'm not interested. God, I got to get up now and go to work. And can I just have a drink so I can feel better? Many people live in that world. But what I want you to see here is the separation that occurs between consuming and connecting, and manifesting and connecting. There's no break when you're conscious between manifesting and connecting, because again, be, do, have. You beed, it inspired you to do, which is creating the havingness. The havingness is the co-creative effort. The havingness is the interaction with the world that connects you to all the things that you're interested in, to all of the people that will help you to create what you're looking for, to all of the ingredients that you seek, without having to figure out how. You did that with your energy. You created the space for it. You created an open receptiveness to your creations. So now you are beginning to connect to people, places, and things that are powerfully supporting your path. But when you're being unconscious, what happens there is that the energy recycles down, because you're disconnected. You're not connected to your own energy in a way that allows you to unfold it and to create that openness and that space. So this is a significant place here, because at this point, the unconscious pyramid is just roaming around in those lower places. They're continually trying to figure out how I'm going to get better. How am I going to feel better? Am I ever going to sleep well? Am I ever going to get a good job? Am I ever going to make enough money? Am I ever going to have enough? Mine, where's mine? I need mine. That whole trip. Again, I'm making it intensified, but I think it's not too far off the mark. I've been in both places. When I was a younger person, I lived in the right side. So I was really clear about that. I saw that unfold constantly in my life, and it's a horrible treadmill that doesn't feel good because that you're not going anywhere. Even in the pyramid, you're circling. It's just a circle jerk. It's the same thing. And you might be fortunate enough to create a few things along the way that make you feel better. But I'm here to tell you, you can feel better all the time. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to only feel good sometimes. I used to do an exercise when I was when I would do presentations for my Signs of Transformation when I was in San Diego, and we would do an exercise where we would have people focus on a very powerful moment a very powerful positive moment in their life where they were very powerfully impacted, and just what we call the best moment of my life, or one of the best moments of my life. And we would have people talk about that moment and talk about how it felt and talk about the experience of it. And one of the things that always shocked me was one of the questions we asked was, how long ago was that experience? And I kid you not, 90% of the people, 5 years or more. 5 years or more, unless the event occurred recently, but 5 years or more that they had to go back to find an experience of that just unreleased, that powerful joy. 5 years at 90%. There were people I remember who hadn't had that experience in 25 years. You should be having the experience every day. You should be tapping into that joy as many times a day as is possible. And that's every moment if you choose it. So as you can see, with this pyramid, it's an interesting process, because if you're on the unconscious side, there's no two ways about it. You don't get to be kind of conscious. You're either conscious or unconscious and operating in one or the other. So on the conscious side now, you're into connecting, and that connecting and that the things that are helping you to manifest and create all that's coming forward through the receptivity that you have sets you up for the self-care. Self-care is all about creating that amazing cycle. So you realize that I've gotten to this place of connecting, and the joy is palpable, and I'm experiencing things that I've never experienced before, but I've always wanted to. And it's creating a joy in more moments of my life. And so I naturally want to take care of myself in order to continue that amazing experience. So self-care becomes an inherent part of the process of wellness. You don't have to fight with yourself to be well. You welcome it by creating an energetic space to allow it to come in, to allow yourself to reap the benefits of when self-care is in full operation. So that self-care can be meditation, can be massage, it can be everything you consider to be self-care. It's what you eat, it's how you feel, it's what you think, it's all the details of self-care. So out of that connecting, out of that creating and connecting process, the desire to continue the momentum is self-care. The desire to step in more fully is self-care. And then naturally, once you're in that beautiful flowing cycle, in that toroidal field where the heart is the center of the experience, and all of that energy is moving around you in 360 degrees, and it's just moving this beautiful billowing energy that's moving out of you. And from that, it elevates you. And that's where the transformation begins, and that's where the transformation happens. But it's important to recognize that that can't happen if you are being unconscious, because you won't pursue it. That's why this year of conscious creation is about dump the resolutions. Resolutions are will-driven, guys. Resolutions are will-based living. I don't want you to live will-based. Here, I'm going to come back and visit you for a minute. I don't want you to be will-based. I want you to be soul-based. I want you to be able to take that incredible energy that you are and enhance it and expand it and grow it. And that's why this pyramid of wellness is so powerful, because you get to step into the best version of yourself. When you are being conscious, just start with the breath. Don't worry about the rest. It will come. It will all unfold in ways that will blow your mind just by getting conscious of breathing. just by getting conscious of your breath. I had an amazing conversation a couple days ago with my buddy. We were at dinner talking about, I was sharing about my meditation. He'd asked me what I do in my meditation. And we were talking about breath, and we were talking about creating that space. And I said, yeah, you do that all the time when you run. He's a runner. And I'm not talking about a guy that runs a mile every day. This is a guy who runs the tops of mountains. This is a guy who runs miles and miles and miles and miles at a time. Like 8 miles is kind of like an easy workout. But his experience in that process is as profound as mine is doing my own meditative process, doing my own daily practice in my space. That's the awesomeness of who we are. You don't have to necessarily be the guy that sits in the corner and sits in meditation and does all that. And it's very, very good. And it's very, very powerful. But you can also get there a lot of other ways. There are a lot of things that stimulate us into altered states. And if we are connected to who we are, we can find those. I'm saying use breath. He's a runner. He's using breath just being able to run. But he has to be able to breathe successfully to run for that long. And his body has to be able to be managed with that breath to be able to do that. And he does. He goes into a completely altered state the entire time. And that's no different than being in meditation. It's no different. So find yours. Start with the breath. Just start at breathing. Start at finding a breathing program. Start with counted breathing. That's what I did. I started just at some point doing counted breathing. I'd sit and I'd just sit and breathe. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would do that. And over time, it started to get easier. And then as I relaxed into it, as I started to release the hows, because as with every new process, we all get caught up in, well, I want to do it right. I want to do enough. No, that's ego. Let it go. You can't breathe wrong. You're either breathing or you're not. You can enhance your breath, but you can't breathe wrong. So this process it's not hard. It's just attention. So as you begin to do the breath process, as you begin to focus in the breath, incredible things start to happen. An incredible openness starts to happen. You begin to understand how you're put together, and you begin to see how things that don't serve you can just simply be let go of. You can simply surrender them. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to wrestle them to the ground. You don't have to beat your ego into submission, because it will never work, ever. The ego is not needed to be beat into submission. The ego is an important part of who you are. The ego is the ego is the consciousness that runs this physical vessel. The problem, and the reason we are into hows, the reason we don't attend to our breath and to our wellness, is because we have given the ego the keys to the kingdom. We have given the ego the keys to our multi-billion-dollar corporation. You've given the keys to an 8-year-old and said, hey, run my world, would you? And you wonder why your world isn't running. Or if it is, it's like a crazy 8-year-old. Some days are good, some days are bad. You cry a lot, you throw fits, you have temper, and you want to know where yours is. Where's mine? Where's mine? Where's mine? That is the result of a negatively impacted ego. It is not the result of a healthy ego. Important distinction. An unhealthy ego acts out. An unhealthy ego does everything it can because again, its main job is to, through the 5 senses, ensure your body stays on the planet. That's all. It runs the physical body. It makes sure that any imminent threat that comes to the physical body, it ignites something in your body to get your awareness. But when you're using that ego for everything else, it's still doing that job, but then it's mixing it up with all the other crap. So now everything that you're attending to out in the world that stimulates fear is causing the ego to go back into the warehouse and bring forward all kinds of nonsense and crap and story to help you make sense of the craziness that you're living, because you're not connected, you're not grounded, and you're not building from a powerful foundation. So lose the concept of fight. lose the concept of needing to beat anything or conquer anything. It's unnecessary. You are whole and complete. And what I'm trying to show in this pyramid of wellness is how we do it consciously and how we do it unconsciously. There is the only flip switch. When you flip that switch and you're unconscious, it's a path that unfolds the way it's going to unfold because you're not attending to it. So you are at effect. When you are conscious, you are managing the process. And that's what it is. It's management, not control. It's management. It's attending to. We were talking about this the other day. Attending to. You got money things, that's one thing. You got money. That's a thing. That's an energy stream that needs to be attended to. You have a job or a career or the things that you do. You have a relationship or relationships. You have, so there's all these streams, and all of them are individual streams. But what we tend to do is clump them together because we think they all go together. My job means this is the way I make money. My career is what I do to make money. Well, it may be, but if you attend to the energy of money, if you attend to that in your experience consciously, you just feed energy to that creative process and allow it to inspire you to create the things that will bring you what you need. And it could be that it's going to come through what you do, maybe. But again, if it's unconscious, then you're lumping it all together and one has to happen for the other to be. In your conscious world, that's not the case. You attend to this. Like for me, I have a book, I have a program, I have this show, I have money, I have my husband, I have, there's all these streams, and I attend to each stream. And whenever I try to cross those streams, my life gets difficult. Things get challenging because I'm starting to pull together things that don't belong together energetically. So that was sort of a diversion into this discussion, but I think it's an important understanding about this pyramid of wellness and why this pyramid of wellness is so, so important. The pyramid just is symbolically gives you a way to look at things that you may not have looked at before. It gives you a way of seeing how your life can unfold from a conscious and an unconscious perspective and where you can change that. And what I can tell you ultimately is the change can come easily and quickly by simply changing your attention to your breath. Creating that daily practice so that you are consciously choosing to engage your energy, your field, your breath every day and beginning to understand and know how you engage, how you interact, how you feel, why you respond, how you respond. What are those responses coming from? All of that is significant and important, but you don't have to fight about any of it. Don't have to fight about any of it. Because as you change your vibration, as you spin that vibration up, as you expand your energy, the things that no longer can fill that space have to fall away. And the cool thing is that once you build that foundation and you crank up the levels of your energetic experience, as you cross each threshold in amplifying your field, in strengthening your vibration and expanding your vibration, there is no going backwards. You would have to do severe damage to yourself to undo that conscious process. Now, in the beginning, it's a little more tentative because it's a new behavior. It's a new experience. So you want to build the strength and the trust in that experience. And that's why it's a daily practice. That's why you're doing it, to keep that momentum going and to build that foundation so that when you have a day that may feel really off, or you're not, you get blindsided by something that wasn't expected, the foundation from which you deal with it changed because you changed from that unconscious place to that conscious place. So now you're going to have a better, stronger, more effective foundation for responding to those things as opposed to reacting. Because when you're in the unconscious place, it's like walking in mud or on soft ground. It's always yielding and giving way, and there's no sense of stability there. On the other side, there's a huge feeling of stability. You feel like you're standing on solid ground. You're grounded, you're present, you're focused. So that's my story for today. It is. I'm going to play a quick commercial. It's the end. We're good. I can't tell you much, guys. your attention and your being here with me is tremendous, is awesome, it's just incredible to me. And I appreciate you all very much. And I appreciate that, we get to walk through all these cool things together. And I love that. And I want to thank you for being part of the show, for engaging with me, and for sharing your stories with me and telling me about how things are improving for you. Tell your friends, share this, talk to people, let them know about this amazing opportunities that we have together. Let people know about Adventures in Truth Livecast. This also comes out as a podcast. So I'm on all kinds of podcast stations, and I'm on live TV and all that good stuff. And I want you to get the most out of this. And I hope that you share. I hope that you tell your friends. I hope you like. I hope you subscribe. But more than anything, I'm just glad you're here. And I thank you for that. My world is good. And I want your world to be good too. Have an amazing day, rest of your day. And we will see you next time. And I appreciate you being here. And I appreciate your energy. So thanks for that. And I will see you on the other side. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Adventures in Truth Livecast. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to learn more about Jim's book, Fear is a Choice, Unraveling the Illusion of Our Separation from Love, check it out at www.fearisachoicebook.com. Also check out Moments of Truth, a new offering from Adventures in Truth. If you'd like to work with Jim, check out www.thesciencetransformation.com to book a session. Tune in live every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time and every Friday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Or look for our new releases and podcasts every Monday. Until next time, be well, and we'll see you again on Adventures in Truth Livecast.